Next week, Netflix is gracing us with yet another show about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. And we are curious to see whether it's going to be a flop or a hit because people's opinions on the royal couple are so split.
The show is called With Love, Meghan, and will apparently present an earthy version of her cooking, gardening, hosting, even beekeeping. Who doesn't? With celebrity friends popping in.
And according to the people who've watched the show already, it focuses on inspiration. So like Meghan is making a strawberry cake, so it should inspire you to make a strawberry cake. Apparently the show has like 0 actual recipes though.
And even though they have a gorgeous home in Montecito, the show was filmed at a friend's house nearby. I guess they want to keep their lives extremely private, but it does kind of hinder the organic feel.
And the show is basically like an offshoot of Meghan's lifestyle brand, which was previously called American Riviera Orchard, but was recently rebranded to As Ever. And to explain the rebrand, Meghan said, American Riviera, that sounds like such a great name. It's my neighborhood, but it limited me to things that were just manufactured and grown in this area.
Yeah, and I guess it's just coincidental that she didn't get the trademark for the name since you can't trademark a geographic area. And she's teased a little, but we can expect from As Ever, it's mostly jams.
Of course there will be fruit preserves. I think we're all clear at this point that jam is my jam.
And cringy inspirational posts like, you cannot make everybody happy. You are not a jar of Nutella. That's fair. And I love you with all my butt. I would say heart, but my butt is bigger.
It hurts. It's painful.
Jokes aside, I do get the point of her rebrand. Like American Riviera Orchard had a teaser last March that showed Meghan wearing like a ball gown and she looked very like royal and unattainable. And now she's presenting a very like laid back California girl image.
Yeah, it feels like she's going for a more relatable goop or something. But there are already some issues with the brand. So the mayor of a small town in Spain says As Ever's logo, which looks like a coat of arms with an X with hummingbirds on the side, is nearly identical to his town's emblem that dates back to 1370. He says residents are upset Meghan is using their coat of arms to sell products around the world.
That's rough. And apparently the name of the brand is also running into some issues. I guess As Ever is an existing clothing brand. And on top of that, apparently the products for As Ever, which we still don't even know what they are, won't be ready until months after the show launches. And according to Page 6, there won't be any like pop-ups or branded cafes or anything, which is a surprising business decision.
It's just so classic them. Like there always seems to be some complication to like every project they take on. Like they had that $20 million Spotify deal to make uplifting content and only managed to put out 12 podcast episodes in 2.5 years.
They also had like 2 Netflix shows that were pretty much flops. So Polo came out in December and is an inside look at professional polo. It had a 25% on Rotten Tomatoes and is a 3 out of 10 on IMDb.
Yikes.
And then Heart of Invictus came out in 2022. And apparently the show had a lot of heart, but there just wasn't really any public interest.
But of course, their docuseries Harry and Meghan was a certified success. It broke Netflix's record for the highest viewing hours of any documentary in a premiere week. And I watched it and I left with a favorable opinion of them. I think they really got the narrative of why they left the royal family across well.
And then they've had some projects that we don't really know how to classify. Like Prince Harry's book Spare came out in 2023 and it became the fastest selling nonfiction book of all time. And in it, he talks about like losing his mother, his drug abuse, his time in the army, and even meeting Meghan. But he was criticized for revealing some like odd details, which kind of like took over what the entire book was about.
Yeah, he talks about getting frostbite on his penis during a charity trek in the North Pole. And then he said he used his mom's fancy skincare on the area. He also describes losing his virginity to a mysterious older woman in a field. Like, Harry, it's TMI.
Yeah, like, is that a win or a flop? We cannot tell with that one. And another example in this like weird category is in 2020, Meghan signed a deal to provide voiceover work for a Disney project in exchange for like a donation for a charity called Elephants Without Borders. But what made the situation embarrassing was that Harry was caught on camera asking Disney CEO Bob Iger to give Meghan the voiceover.
And ultimately, she did end up narrating the Disney Plus documentary Elephant.
The Kalahari Desert in southern Africa. These elephants are setting out on a 1,000-mile round trip, one that could take up to 8 months.
So with this questionable record, I guess everything comes down to with love Meghan. Sources say if the numbers are disappointing, Netflix may drop Harry and Meghan since their contract is up in the fall.
Which says a lot because Netflix is also an investor in Meghan's lifestyle brand as ever. And it's been confirmed that the couple is working on another project for Netflix, which is an adaptation of the romance novel Meet Me at the Lake.
So to analyze why these projects haven't taken off and why public perception is so polarized on Harry and Meghan, we spoke to royal commentator and host of the Off With Their Headlines podcast, Amanda Matta, who has over 1 million followers on TikTok. We know this is a big question, but why do you think public sentiment is so divided on Meghan and Harry?
There's this idea of a royal rift. I think people fall on one side or the other of that debate more because of where they stand on like the issues of monarchy and even politically. With Meghan, it's good business at this point, honestly, if you're in media, to put that spin and get people to click, because generating outrage is a great way to get clicks. And Meghan is somebody who outrages a lot of people. There's just something, I can't put my finger on it, that I don't like. And I'm like, okay, let's unpack that. Is it because she's a woman and like she's in the British royal family and there are all these outdated ideas about what women should be able to do in that family? Is it xenophobia because she's American? Or is it the race issue? There has been so much kind of just thrown at her, like the bullying allegations are coming up again. And I'm just like, show me one like concrete story and I will go along with you. But there is never anything. It's just accusations.
Do you think that they've had a hard time translating their image to the public in like an authentic way?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little tough making the switch from working royals to non-working royals. Like it's not a thing we see happen very often. People want to know, like, am I getting the real version of Meghan when she's promoting like her brands? And I think no, to a degree, she and Harry both are cultivating like a persona, but so does every celebrity.
Do you think they've done anything to kind of bring it on themselves at all? I know they have this reputation of starting projects and not really seeing them through.
They came out of the gate like full throttle. And I think they may have overcommitted themselves, definitely. You know, these are big names that they were partnering with, and these things were being announced so quickly. Netflix, Spotify, Penguin Random House for these books. And I think that book deal was like 3 books, not just Harry's memoir. They also want to be philanthropists, which is a whole other thing. And I think that work is going really well. But again, there's like mixed messages. Are you royal? Are you not? So, I mean, Harry and Meghan, are they grifters? I don't think so.
Everyone is talking about Meghan's rebrand now from
Yes.
American Riviera Orchard to As Ever. And as you know, she's been getting like a lot of hate for it. So can you kind of like walk us through what are people saying and what do you think is the real like story?
She rebranded from American Riviera Orchard, which I think most people agree was not a great name. It's not very catchy. It doesn't roll off the tongue. We think there's a sense that she was rushed into announcing that because the story got scooped essentially by the British media last year. The word on the street, and my understanding with ARO, is the trademark application process. There was like a bump in the road. It wasn't a full out rejection. And with Meghan, it seems like the concern was more about, okay, is this name too generic?
So they are notoriously private. But what do we know? What little glimpses do we have of their life with their 2 little kids in Montecito?
Beyond, you know, you can look at the old real estate listings for their estate or whatever, 16-bedroom mansion in Montecito. They are very private. You know, they have all these famous neighbors, and the community in Montecito, there are conflicting reports about how their neighbors feel about them. Meghan, I think, has talked about how she has like this sanctuary with her family now because the estate has like rose gardens and cliffs, and it's just so beautiful and peaceful, and I love that for her.
There's a lot that they're dealing with that the public doesn't like focus on or really know about. And something that we do know is that they're dealing with a lot of legal battles.
Yeah, so currently it's mostly Prince Harry with the legal battles. So I always like when people say, oh my gosh, Meghan's like causing all this problem. No, it's like actually Harry's the one taking people to court. This one was against the British publishing arm of Rupert Murdoch's like empire, Publishers of the Sun, essentially. The result of that case was pretty unprecedented. He got a settlement and also an apology, which is kind of like, I think, what he was actually going after for unlawful information gathering directed at not only himself, but also his mother, Diana, Princess of Wales, which it's an admission of historical wrongdoing, which is not something you see every day.
And then we understand he has one going on now, still against the publisher of the Daily Mail.
This one is also about unlawful information gathering, but specifically phone hacking. Harry is a co-claimant with people like Elton John, Elizabeth Hurley. This could involve a huge settlement. The trial is currently set for next year, 2026.
And so to end on a little tease of what we can look forward to next week, what are you excited for about With Love, Meghan?
Like, I'm really excited to, I don't know, make a beautiful crudité along with Meghan.